modernization and industrial cooperation, energy, tourism and culture, science and technology, and IT, of course. The plenary meeting of the Intergovernmental Commission will be held on Tuesday, following which the co-chairs will sign the final protocol of the 24th IGC meeting. Major Mohammed Ali Shah joins us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Ali, of course, good to see that India and Russia continue with their partnership, but at the same time, India is also keeping a very close eye on what Russia is doing with China.
Absolutely, Vineet, you brought it right on. But somewhere Russia knows that China is trying to come close to them because of their ulterior motives. So Russia is going to be smart enough. They will not be taken for a ride by China. And of course, they will see their interest at the moment when the world is not really supporting Russia. Their world is against them. They're calling them the villain. At that time, they are getting some solace from China. So it's okay. They will welcome that. At the same time, now when the Deputy Prime Minister of Russia comes to India, most certainly we are going to be strengthening our bilateral relationship with Russia and our trade with them. In fact, last year in the month of November in Moscow, our Foreign Minister S. Shankar and their Deputy Prime Minister, who is also the Minister for Trade, in fact, in Russia, they had met and they had found out certain guidelines for the IRIGC TEC. That which will be held on mutually convenient dates. In fact, on 13th and 14th September 1994, that was the first session of IRIGC which was held. And now the 23rd IRIGC session will be held very, very soon, and it will be hosted by India, in fact. So now, as per the Indian figures, Vineet, the bilateral trade during April 2022 and March 2021 amounted to US $8.1 billion. Indian exports amounted to US $2.6 billion, while imports from Russia amounted to US $5.48 billion. Now, for the same period, as per the Russian figures, the bilateral trade amounted to US $9.31 billion, and then the Indian exports amounted to US $3.48 billion, and imports amounted to US $5.83 billion. Now, if you see the statistics, the figures, this is a good progress we have made, in fact, with Russia. Our trade with Russia, we still continue to buy cheap oil from Russia, despite US actually saying that India's stand was shaky. Now, when China, the point that you brought out, tries to come close to Russia, and the figure that I gave out is because to show and to prove and to actually hence prove, they say, right, that it does not affect us at all. I mean, even though China might come close to Russia, and China has said that their stance is actually neutral. Their foreign minister had said that. But they say that in Hindi, haathi ke daant dikhane ke alag aur khane ke alag. To show and to say something, they're two different things. Emotional support, which China is giving Russia, that itself is enough. Russia knows somewhere that China is going to be helping them out in emotional way. Like the way I would presume that China is helping out North Korea, despite North Korea having too many sanctions on them. And as they say, dost ka dost dushman. Similarly, China and US, we all know what the relationship is. Russia and US, we all know what the relationship is. So that is how dost ka dost, ka dushman dost. That is the only thing what is common between China and Russia, I see. And of course, Xi Jinping is trying to, he got Iran and Saudi to become friends. He tried to be a peace broker between Russia and Ukraine. It didn't work out. Israel, Turkey, India have tried that. Well, it hasn't worked out earlier as well. So most certainly, China is going to get close to Russia, but Russia is going to be very, very chary of what China does really.
Right, and Ali, how do you, rate India's changing partnership with Russia over the course of the last few months, especially what's been happening in Europe, Eastern Europe, the NATO exercises of having Finland as a new member, and plus, Russia continually supporting this war and basically not paying much heed to what the Prime Minister also told Mr. Putin, that war is not the way of the future.
All right, Breeze. The whole crux of the war between Russia and Ukraine, as we all know, the whole world knows by now, it is because Russia did not want Ukraine to enter NATO. But where Finland and Sweden, in fact, they had tried to get the membership. They were trying for quite some time. Finland succeeded. Finland got the membership of NATO. Now, there is a reason behind that. See, Ukraine is touching the Russian border. It was part of Russia at one time. Now, if Ukraine would have got NATO membership, there would have been trouble there, and NATO knew that very, very well. Finland is not on the border, so Finland gets the membership because there will not be any trouble there. So now Finland, they welcomed Finland just a few days back. Sweden, like for example, Ukraine, the start of war in March itself, 24th February, the war started. In March, Ukraine said, let's become the member of the European Union. And European Union said, okay, we will consider it. If one doesn't become a member overnight, it would be considered. But NATO dangled a carrot around Ukraine for a very, very long time, and Ukraine actually fell for it. So the smartest thing over here would be, I would call America. People would say, oh, it was silly of America, they got them to fight. It was very smart of America, without firing a single bullet, without boots on the ground, without a single casualty. Look at the damage they have caused in Russia. Now, when the Intergovernmental Commission of when the two countries meet, like Russia and India, the Intergovernmental Commission, that is a mechanism for regularly monitoring bilateral progress across the sectors of trade and economic cooperation. Now, between the two countries, which was set up by an agreement on Intergovernmental Commission on Trade, Economics, Scientific and Technology Cooperation, which was signed in May 1992. Now, after that, only the first session of IGC, which I mentioned earlier, of 13th and 14th September 1994, they came along, and now furthermore, the meeting is going to come. Now, the very fact when you see a new member entering NATO beneath, it is actually, Ukraine would obviously feel jealous, and they would feel they're left out. They would be taken, they would feel that we have been taken by a ride for a ride. It didn't really happen with them. But there's a reason, because had Ukraine actually become a member of NATO, then it would have been a worse scenario from both the sides, which Ukraine unfortunately did not gauge you beneath that time.